So we will be making a carbon fiber version of this logo today. We'll be molding it to the head tube, which I'm cleaning off right now. I'm going to wipe it off real quick. Just make sure I get any extra debris or oils off of it before I mold anything to it. I'm going to measure my logo that I want on there and then compare it to my material and cut the desired length and width for my material. I'll now take my first ply and put it up against some more material and cut along the edge of my first ply to make a second ply, and then those two plies will become my composite part. We only need 2 plies because it is just a logo, but for most composite parts there are much more plies than just 2. For instance, for our seat that we'll be making, there will probably be at least 10 to 12 plies. So right now I'm just applying a release agent because we don't want the part to stick to the head tube too much, because we want to be able to pull it off and machine it to the shape that we want. Now I'm taking that release film or that release agent off after it's cured for 5 minutes, and then I reapply it and repeat that same process 3 times of applying, releasing, or applying and taking off that release agent, and then reapplying 3 different times. This is a liquid release agent that I put on and then let it cure for 5 minutes. Now I am making a envelope vacuum bag. During curing, this part has to be under vacuum inside an oven. So when it cures, it needs to be compacted and pressed together and forced onto the mold, and the compacting together will help it to remove contaminants and extra resin that might be in the prepreg. And then also the heat will make the resin more liquefied, and it'll flow throughout the 2 plies and bond those together as well as to the tube. And so the vacuum bag just contains that vacuum and helps it suck down onto the tube and holds everything together. It's a very important part of the process. So this is what the vacuum bag looks like before I seal it up. There's still a thin piece of paper in between the tape and the bag on one edge, so I can still put my part inside. I'm just going to mold the first ply to my tube, and then get my second ply and mold it to the tube. And then this is a release film that I put onto my tube because there are more things that go into the bag, and that release film keeps it from sticking to other things. The white is a breather bleeder. Any extra resin that bleeds out of that part will be soaked up by that breather bleeder, and so that is the purpose of that. I put another piece of breather bleeder extending from that other piece over, and then I'll put my vacuum port connected to that breather, and so it'll help the vacuum breathe out the port. It'll create a path for that vacuum. Just going to seal up the last edge here, and then we will put it under vacuum and conform the part, or conform the bag to the part. So I'm just gonna put the bag into the tube, just kind of force it in there, so when I suck down the vacuum or apply the vacuum, there will be no air left inside the bag. We don't want any air left inside the bag, so I have to eliminate any possibilities of there being air in the bag. I want to make sure everything's sealed up and tight and good. And then right now I'm just making it sure the bag's kind of smoothish on the part. And then we want to connect the vacuum port inside the oven. This oven is, I believe, a 250 degree oven. And so the part just cures in there, and then I let it cure for about 2 hours. Normally it'd be longer than that, but that's what I let it cure for, just because it's 2 plies and it didn't need much time. After curing, I took a plastic scraper and wedged it in between the carbon fiber and the tube and pried it off because it was stuck to it. Now I'm just gonna cut that logo that I took a piece of paper and put that logo onto my carbon fiber part, and then I'm just gonna cut out with a diamond blade. That's what you're seeing me do right now. I did speed it up a lot, I believe 5 times the original speed, just because it took quite a while to cut it out, a lot of attention to detail. So I didn't want to have you guys waiting for me to do something you can actually see. want to take some sandpaper and smooth down the edges a little bit. When you cut it off with the blade, it's not perfectly smooth, so I just want to smooth down the edges, make it look nice. And this is what it looks like when it's all done. Looks very nice. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you next time.